Hi Flosstube friends, welcome to my channel. My name is Chris. Today is Wednesday, January 31st, 2024, and I am here with my first video of the year to share my stitching from the month of January. If you're new here, thanks for popping in to see what I've been up to, and if you're a returning viewer, thank you so much. I really appreciate your support, and I'm so glad you've come to hang out with me today so we can talk stitching. So new year, new rotation, and if you watched my planning video at the end of last year, I was kind of talking about maybe trying out what I'm calling a birthday rotation. So when a whip has a birthday, I stitch on that whip and I continue stitching on it until another whip has a birthday. So that's kind of how I started the year. I guess I should share, I also finished up my temperature cell from last year, so I'll be sharing that as well. But one of the other sort of components of my rotation is I have a focus project, which is my oldest whip, which is Walk with Dog. I'll put a picture in here of what it will look like when it's done. So this is my focus project, and I'm going to work on it every weekend this year, so every Saturday and Sunday. So I have been doing that for the last little while. This is a project that I started way back in, I think 2019, but I'm not sure. I'd have to double check that. But last fall, if you watched any of my older videos, I did actually decide to restart this. I was stitching it on an 18 count Aida, and I was finding the stitches were getting really tight, and I just wasn't loving it, so I wanted to try restarting it on a 25 count and stitch it 1 over 1. So that is what I've been doing, and I was still a little bit undecided at the beginning, but I've kind of settled in now and I'm actually really enjoying it. So I don't really have a before picture because I always had it in a hoop when I was working on it before, and I was still trying to find my way, so to speak. But I have taken it out of the hoop today and I've ironed it. So here is where it is now. So I am now farther than I was with the other piece. So the other piece, I think I was about 7% done the chart. Now I'm over 8% done. I'm kind of using a modified version of the Royal Rose method, and I have decided rather than completing pages, I'm just going to go all the way across the top of the piece, and then I'll come back and go across again, kind of like a typewriter, so to speak. I know it looks like a bit of a hot mess, but I've decided there's no way this project cannot look like a hot mess. There are so many different colors and so many color changes, and I am parking at this point. Whether I'll change that down the road, I don't know, but yeah, that's kind of where it's at. So little bitty teeny tiny stitches and lots of really pretty colors. So I do feel like I'm making progress, so this is good. I look forward to picking it up every weekend, but yeah, by Sunday night I'm ready to move on to something different, just because it's fairly intense, because it is such small stitching, so that is good. So that is my focus piece. So yeah, I will quickly show you then. I was doing the Tiny Hearts Temperature Cell by Apricot Polka Dots, who has an Etsy shop, which I'll link down below. This was a temperature cell that I did in the year of 2023. So every day I stitched a different heart in a different color based on the high temperature of the day. And the designer did give us a like a key of the different colors that we could use, which I tweaked a little bit. So down at the bottom you can see those little squares. Oops. These little squares down the bottom, that's sort of like my color gradient, all the different categories of colors. And then 2023 were the last 4 days, because this block of hearts is 19 by 19, so that comes to 361, and so there's 4 days left. And so then she had us do the last 4 days of the year. The colors were the numbers, so 2023, which I thought was very ingenious. So that was a really fun stitch. I love how it looks. My one daughter, she didn't even know what I was stitching. She just really liked the colors and the flow of the colors. So that was fun. So if I ever do a temperature cell again, I might even just do this one again because I just really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun, but there's a lot of really cool ones out there if that's something that you're interested in. Okay, so then starting the year, birthdays. So I had 2 whips that had a birthday on New Year's Eve, December 31st. And so I was going to work on both of them. I decided, well, the 2 of them, one is Whip It, which is here. And then the other is Hard Frost, which is this Heritage Crafts kit that I have. So Whip It is an older whip and it was closer to a finish. So I started with it, and here's where it was when I started. So it was pretty close to being done. So I was able to actually finish it up. Yeah, doesn't it look like Ollie? So you may notice I have done a color conversion. This was originally charted with a lot of pinks and purples, which is beautiful. But I knew I wanted to frame it and hang it up, and I don't really decorate with a lot of those colors, so I decided to try and rechart it in more neutrals, so more browns and tans and grays. I still kept like the highlights and the lowlights that the designer had used in the original chart. I just changed a few of those purples and pinks. So yeah, so that is Whip It. So this is stitched on a 28 count mystery linen. So that is Whip It. So then Hard Frost. So once I finished Whip It, I started stitching on Hard Frost. I'll put a picture in here of where it was the last time you would have seen it. I did work on this one a little bit this past year. Not a tremendous amount, but here is where it is now. So yeah, so this is going to be a circle when it's done, so I might be a quarter to a third of the way. This is a really interesting chart. I've never seen this in the years that I've cross-stitched, but they do sort of like compressed stitches. Here, I'm gonna grab the sheet. So like a lot of kits, especially dimensions kits, will have you do full crosses or half crosses, or you know, especially some of the older cross stitch patterns, they might have you do quarter stitches or 3/4 stitches or whatever. But in this chart, they have you do these. Now what do they call them? 2 vertical half stitches. So you're still making X's, but instead of doing it like over 2 threads, you're doing it over 1 thread sideways and 2 threads vertically, sort of thing. Where then there's the opposite, where they're horizontal half stitches here. And then they even have, let's see, yeah, so there's full cross stitch, vertical half stitch, 2 vertical half stitch, horizontal half stitch, 2 horizontal half stitch. Oh, here it is, sorry. Pardon me. And then they have this straddled full cross stitch. So you're purposefully like moving over 1 thread and creating another full cross stitch, but now you're like out of sync with all your other cross stitches. But usually that's because you're putting a vertical half stitch on each side of that, and then it bounces back out again. But I had never seen that before in a pattern. And at first I'm like going, oh, that's weird. That's gonna look so weird. Do I even wanna stitch this now? Did I see that? But I sort of persevered because there wasn't any of that at the beginning when I was putting in all of this, you know, tree here. But really came into play. Some of it along the fence line, they've done that, and they do it just to give it more dimension. I guess it's kind of like stitching 1/1, like when people do a mirabilia and want the face to have more detail. and definition. It's sort of the same idea, I guess. So along the fence line, they've done that, I think, just to make it more a smoother diagonal rather than too jagged. And they really did it around the horse. You can sort of see here at the base of the horse, there's some there where the shadow of it is. But to get the shape of this little horse in that few stitches, it would have been impossible. He would have just been a weird, blocky, brown blob. But because they had you do those vertical and horizontal and staggered stitches, it gives you a lot more detail. And it wasn't really that hard to do. This is a 27 count even weave, I should mention. Zweigart, I guess. So yeah, because it's the even weave and it's a nice soft, really nice quality fabric, it is really easy to do those unusual stitches. But yeah, so kind of cool. So I was surprised, like when I stitched that little horse, I went, wow, like that looks like a little horse grazing sort of thing. So yeah, so that one I worked on. So then we come to my new start. So in my planning video, I talked about how I was going to be doing a new start every month. So I was calling it 12 and 24. I didn't realize at the time that there was a 24 and 24 going on that I believe was spearheaded by Pam at Just Keep Stitching. But I had decided I was going to do one start every month on the 24th because I have so many wonderful things in my stash that I really wanted to get a chance to work on. I'm celebrating a big birthday this year, and you know, I'm not getting any younger, so I was just going to go ahead and start stitching them. So I'd asked you guys to help me pick which one would be my new start in January. So I had 3 choices that I offered up. So one was this Dimensions Gold Summer's End. It's a beautiful, beautiful chart. Mare and Foal, another Dimensions Gold. And then Artful Offerings Bluebird Garden. So those are the 3 choices. So I had 28 people that voted. Thank you for everybody that voted. You know who you are, for helping me pick my new start. Summer's End had 5 votes out of those 25, excuse me. Mare and Foal had 8 votes out of the 25. And so that leaves Bluebird Garden, and Bluebird Garden had 15. So, you know, that was like over 50% of the vote was for Bluebird Garden. So it was a hands down win. And so on the 24th of January, I started Bluebird Garden. And here is where I got to. So I got the whole border done and the little pedestal that the bird sits on, and I started the vine. I did actually start with the little pedestal down there. This is on a 32 count linen from Hand Dyed by Rolanda. It's called Oyster, and I'm stitching it with all of the called for Gentle Arts threads. So this brown one I just really, really liked. I think that's, I forget, Dirt Trail. Nobody tells me on the chart. Wood Trail, sorry. It's just this really subtle brown and gray variegation. So I actually started with the pedestal because I usually start in the top left corner, but I was worried I'd do the whole border and then go to do the pedestal and I'd run out of floss and then I wouldn't have that great look. So I started with the pedestal first, and then I started the border thinking I could always sub in something else in the border. It wouldn't be as noticeable, but I actually had lots of floss. And yeah, the chart does say that you just need 1 skein, so I should have just believed the chart. But yeah, so that's my start on Bluebird Garden. So thank you again, everybody that took the time to leave a comment and vote and help me choose which one I was going to start. I did work on one other project, but I'm going to talk about that in just a minute when I get to plans. But right now I'm going to switch, and I want to talk a little bit about some happy mail that I got. So you may have noticed on my full coverage these little guys. So these are called bobbies. I'll link I'll put a link down below from Amazon, which is where I got them from. And you can get them in all different kinds of counts and configurations type of thing. You get a 4 count or an 8 count. This happens to be a 16 count, which I ended up buying in a bundle with some of the boards to do, I can't remember what it's called. It's a type of braiding. Just because I didn't want 32 of them, because that was the next configuration. And to get the 16 with the boards seemed like a better deal than to buy like 2 8 counts type of thing. So, and so yeah, you can see that I've put them on here to sort of wrangle some of my crazy flosses and just keep them a little tidier. So finally bought myself some bobbies. And then of course, I like to check out, I think I like the D-Stash site because sometimes I find stuff that I didn't know existed, or stuff that is harder to find or older or that you can't even find anywhere. So, so this is one that I recently got, Bluebird Cup Designs, surprise, surprise. It has a horse and the little cat there. It's called Stealing Oats. My sister has a horse, and when I saw this, I was kind of thinking it would be fun if I could change this cat to a dog, because my sister has dogs, because I think she'd get a kick out of that. And I do believe I have a Bluebird Cup Designs that does have a dog on it, so I'm hoping I can maybe combine that somehow and maybe stitch that for my sister someday. Not sure why the horse's heart is down here. I guess the cat's is down there, so, but maybe they should put the horses here if the cat's is there. Anyway, I just thought that was super cute. Stealing Oats. I also managed to snag a copy of Marjolaine Basten's Pecking Order. I believe that's what it's called. This Leonard chart. That's fun. Got this Heart in Hand patchwork deer. I remember when this one came out and I thought it was sweet. So when I saw it come up on there for a good price, I thought, oh, I might just grab that for myself, put it away for someday. Same with this one. This is a Little House Needleworks, and again, I remember seeing this one when I first found Flosstube and saw a lot of people stitching this for snowfall. So it says, while snow is softly falling, gliding gently to the ground, our neighbors from the forest cozy up and gather round. So I just thought that was sweet. I like the little deer and the little bunny. I love the color palette. A while ago I was going through some of my old stash that I had, trying to see if there's some stuff I wanted to just weed out that I wasn't going to use, and I had some magazines that I was going through. So these are some of these magazines, Cross Stitch and Needlework, that I had, and so I was looking through them to see if there was stuff in here that I really, really wanted to stitch, or if it was something I could let go. And I discovered in this one, there's a lot of really nice things in here, but I discovered this series by Barbara Anna, Classic Christmas Charm. So it was released as a series, so there was 3 issues that each had 3 of these, and then the goal was that you would, or that you could stitch them either individually as little ornaments or stitch them all together. But this was the only one that I had, so I started looking to see if I could find the other issues, and I was having a little bit of trouble. I did put an in search of out on the D-Stash site, and then was looking like on eBay and things, but all of a sudden a fellow Ontario stitcher, Judy, hi Judy, reached out to me, and she had actually been at a stitch day and I guess had seen my in search of photo and recognized the covers of the magazine and found them on a freebie table at the stitch day. So she reached out to me and said, did you find those magazines yet? And I said, no, I don't know if I'm going to be able to. And she's going, well, today's your lucky day. And she had actually found one of the issues on this freebie table, and so she generously sent it to me. So this one also has some really fun things in it. Like, how cute is that? And then, oh, this one's cute. Where are you guys? I like this one. Yeah, that's Rovaris. Sorry, just trying to find them. Bear with me, talk amongst yourselves. Oh, this one. Sorry, I didn't mean to do a flip through, but there's so many cute things in this one. Thank you again, Judy, for sending it to me. And so here, so these are the 3 that were in this one. So there's all of them together. So I still have not been able to find the middle magazine. But yeah, so that is cute. Just wondering too if she gives you the chart for the border. The framework was in the September one, it says. I'm sorry. Yes, it is there. Okay. So I'm going to put a picture up here of the one that I'm missing. So if any of you happen to have this magazine in your stash and you're willing to let it go, I would love to purchase it from you for a reasonable price. So feel free to reach out to me. I figure in a pinch, if I can't, I might be able to just look at the images in that finished picture and maybe kind of rechart it myself because they're just such small images. So, and I have the color palette now with between the other 2. So yeah, so that was very exciting. So thank you again, Judy. I really appreciate that you remembered and that you reached out to me. And then one other thing I found on the D-Stash site, which I was very, very excited about, was this old Dimensions kit. So it's kind of battered and bruised and it's been open, but everything is here. And so this, if you remember, I have some other Fred Swan artwork in Dimensions kit, and this is the last one that I'm aware of his that I don't have in cross stitch form. There might be one other one, I'm not sure. But so this is called Walk to Town. Yeah, that price tag's kind of in the middle of it, but yeah, I just thought that was really pretty. And now that, I feel like that collection is a little bit more complete. So that was all of my happy mail. So lots of goodies in there. Future fun, as Mel calls it, over at Patchy Pony Stitcher. So yeah, so let's talk about plans. So as I said, I sort of started this year, I was going to try out what I was calling a birthday rotation. But after doing it for the month of January, I'm thinking it's not probably going to work for me as well as I wanted it to, or as well as in my head I thought it would. And part of that is just it's so sporadic. So as you can see, in January, technically I didn't have any birthdays in January. Those 2 ones that I stitched on, their birthdays were December 31st. And I know in February I don't have any birthdays. So it's kind of feast or famine, right? Then you hit May, where I've had a lot of mania starts in the past, or July, where I've done birthday starts in the past, and all of a sudden they start stacking up on top of each other. So I just don't get the consistency that I would like. So, part of my reason in doing the birthday rotation was I wanted to be able to work on every whip, because last year there were some that didn't get touched at all. So I'm going to pivot, and what I've done is I've made a list of every whip, and I've put them in order of their age. So the oldest one is first, the newest one is last. And I'm gonna work on each whip for a week and just keep doing that and going through the list. I'm just gonna go through them in order and work on each one for a week. And when I get to the end of the list, I'm gonna go back to the top and work through them again. So that way, at least the oldest ones might get worked on twice this year, and some of the newer ones won't, sort of thing. I'm still gonna do my focus on the weekend, so I'm still gonna work on walk with dog every weekend. I'm still gonna do my new start on the 24th and work on it at least for the week that it comes up in, type of thing, before I switch back to my weekly rotation with my other whips. I think that's gonna work better for me, but come back next month and see if I've changed it again. Who knows, right? But yeah, so that's sort of the direction that I'm heading. So I kind of started that this week because January's ending and February's starting tomorrow. And my oldest whip is, after walk with dog, is my DMC color chart. So I'll put a picture here of what it's going to look like when it's done. So this is basically a chart that you stitch that has all the DMC colors on it. So kind of like I'm using it as a replacement for purchasing one of the DMC color cards, because I'm going to sort of do a soft finish on it and sort of turn it into like a little bit of a book when I'm done. So so this is what mine looks like now. So I've got a few more to go. I think there might be 20. I'm not sure, and I'm on number 14, I think. So I've stitched on this for 2 days this week. So I did do this column here. I had the header and the numbers done. I just had to fill in the colors, and I just did the next header last night, and I'll do the numbers and that today. So that's going to get worked on today, tomorrow, and Friday, and then it'll get put away. So I thought it might be fun to show you the other ones that I'm going to be working on in February then. Sort of like the next oldest ones that are coming up. So DMC color cards getting this week. Next week, I'm going to be working on Santa's truck stocking. This is a stocking for my husband. This is where it's going to start at. These ones haven't been ironed, so they'll be wrinkly. So this is one that didn't get worked on at all last year, so I'm kind of excited that it's going to get some stitches put in it. So that will be next week's. The week after that, I have this Luca S kit, Hunter and Foxhound. Here's where that one's at. In fact, I think all 3 of these ones weren't worked on last year. So this is Madame Chantilly's Celebrate Christmas 3-tiered tray. And here is where it's starting at. So I have the first tier done. So yeah, so excited that I'm going to get to work on those ones. But then we still have to do a new start for February. So I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to show you guys 3 potential future starts that I've chosen out of my most favorited charts. These are picked randomly. I have them on the wheel and spin the wheel. So I was going to get you guys to help me choose. So one that, again, just came up randomly on the wheel was Mare Full. So if you think I should start that, that's Mare Full. The other one is Winter's Hush. So this is another Fred Swan. So that's Winter's Hush. I know Pam from Pam's Crafty Corner out in Newfoundland, Labrador here in Canada, she has been working on this. You'll often see it in her Flossmas videos. And then the last one, another Dimensions kit. This one is called Peking Pups. So those are the 3 I'm choosing from for my start for February. So Peking Pups, Winter's Hush, and Marinful. So yes, I really like Dimensions kits. I like kits in general. I don't even know why. I just enjoy the little bundles of goodness. So yeah, pick your favorite. Pick the one you'd like to see me start, and we'll see which one wins. Which one I get to start next month. So that is all I have to share today. Thank you again, everybody, for stopping by and letting me share my stitching with you. And yeah, please help me pick my new start for next month. It's always fun to see the directions that people go and why people pick, different people. There's other horse lovers that watch my channel that always pick the horses, and there's other Dimensions kit lovers, they pick the Dimensions kit type of thing. So I do appreciate the people that take the time to do that. So yeah, thank you so much, and until next time, bye.